What's up, everybody? I'm the Mangoose. You are awesome, and today I'm going to go through all of the tier 3 items for Predecessor, but I'll also demonstrate all of the abilities for each character. Everything will be timestamped below so you can zerp straight to the hero you want to see, or straight to the items. The hero skills are displayed on Predecessor's training map, which is absolutely gorgeous. They kind of just let friends run wild with it, and it shows. And I think all of you theory crafters are really going to enjoy its addition to the game. I hate to be a whiny little bitch about this, but I did take time away from actually playing this incredibly fun game to make this video for you guys. So please do me a solid and hit that like button if you find this video informative. We'll start off with Lieutenant Belica. Her passive innovation, you gain additional strength at maximum rank whenever you rank up an ability. And you also get a 10% increased mana whenever you max out an ability. This is going to be huge for any kind of item that converts mana into power. Seismic Assault, her Q, just the same as was a Paragon. Straight line skill shot that knocks people up. Her Void Drone E, same as Paragon. Throw out a mana drone, saps people's mana, attacks them if they try to use an ability within its range. Her R&B is the Void Bomb. You throw down a bomb that explodes after a short duration. And her R, her Neural Disruptor, is her ultimate that deals damage mainly based on the target's missing mana. So she's a bit of a mage killer. I will say, in Predecessor though, she gets outranged pretty hardcore by Howitzer and like the Fae and a lot of people. So her power really comes on late game. So just farm early. Don't be too aggressive against a very good Howitzer or Fae, and you'll be fine. Now, as you see, her Q, straight line skill shot, knocks everything up. You throw the Void Bomb down. You still got her old combo of knocking them up, then putting a Void Bomb underneath them. And the Q has a lot of range. You see, I hit that max range. I did miss the bomb, though. So look at the range on that Q, and then the range of the Void Drone is, the Void Bomb is even longer, really. So let's see how it interacts with environment if we shoot it from up top. As we see, it loses a little bit of range, but it's pretty much the same range. And it does travel over the environment, which is really nice. Then the Void Drone comes out, and you can see his mana being depleted right now. And then if the Steel were to use an ability, it would zap him. Now the innovation, if you max out her Q, you get increased stun duration. Here comes Neural Disruptor, her R. You see that it has a pretty good range, and you can definitely tell when you have somebody in your sights for the Neural Disruptor. But the Neural Disruptor gains 300 units of range whenever you max it out. The Q, her stun, you gain additional stun duration whenever you max that out. Her Mana Drone, whenever you drop that, when it's at max, when you have it maxed out, the attacks will also sap mana if somebody uses an ability while they're in the drone's duration. And the Void Bomb gains 80% magical damage scaling, so it just hits like a freaking truck once you have it leveled up. And that's probably what I would suggest that you level up first, is the Void Bomb. Now we've got good old Crunch, pretty much the same as he was in Paragon. A few very minor differences. His passive, he amplifies his next basic attack to deal bonus magical damage and reduces current cooldown. So he has Stinger Boost baked into his kit now. Left Crunch, this is just a big sweeping left hook with his fist. Deals AoE damage. If it's empowered, it deals true damage. Right Crunch is just a quick body blow uppercut that slows your opponent. If it's empowered, you knock him up. Recrunch, this is what I'm talking about empowered. This is his ultimate. His passive, every third basic attack or ability hit heals Crunch for 30. This is another change from Paragon. He now has a heal baked into his kit. And every third ability used will be empowered if used within 10 seconds. And the active, repeat the last basic ability used, so you get to put on some nice combos. And Forward Crunch, you dash forward, dealing damage, and it now stuns. It didn't used to stun in Paragon. And when it's empowered, you don't just strike your target, you carry them with you for the full duration of the charge through. One of the things I wanted to test on Crunch was to make sure that his Forward Crunch still passes through minions, and it does. So you don't get stopped on minions whenever using a Forward Crunch, which gives you a very nice escape in lane, unless the enemy knows to stand in front of you. The little capsules there, turn on minions, turn off minions, or they they give you full ability haste so that you don't have any cooldowns on anything, which is what I used for a lot of this game, so the cooldowns aren't as short as you may think. So as you see, when I impact a hero with a forward crunch, I stop and stun them unless it's empowered, as it was. As you can see, the flames coming off his back let you know that the next ability was going to be empowered, and that carried me forward. He has a nice attack string. There's the left crunch, and there's the empowered left crunch. Does a lot more damage, and it looks a lot more impressive as well. Boom, there you go. There's the right crunch, the quick uppercut to the body that slows, and then if you hit him in the face, it's a knock-up stun. There's the forward crunch carrying him forward once again. And then of course you can, once you've got your ultimate up, you can string together a lot of these abilities. And I love Crunch because he's such a Swiss Army knife. Now that he has just a stun, just part of his kit, with the forward crunch stunning now without having to be empowered is insane. It's nice to have a stun just on demand. It used to be you had to set up and know that you needed a stun and set up that right crunch as your third ability. And you don't have to hit them. That's kind of what I was demonstrating right there. You don't have to hit your abilities to empower them. So you could just, as you're coming through the jungle, if you want to wind up a right crunch to uppercut somebody as soon as you get in the lane, you can do that if you want to with Crunch. Amazing hero. Absolutely loved him. He was introduced in Legacy, didn't do so well, and that's because he was designed for Monolith. And so he was not strong enough for Legacy because he was made for Monolith. Poor Crunch. Do love him though. Master Skin was incredible in Crunch. I don't know if you guys remember that, but absolutely loved it. And so we've got the empowered Crunch, and as you can see, as it starts to leave, it's only 10 seconds, within 10 seconds of your last ability. So as you're starting to lose it, the jet engines on his back sputter out, and that lets you know what's going on. Also, part of his passive is that whenever you land a basic attack, it reduces the cooldowns on all of your basic abilities. So I went ahead and turned the haste item off, so I actually have cooldowns on my stuff, and we're going to look and see that it actually does lower the cooldowns on our abilities. It's a very small amount, so a lot of the times it's not noticeable when you're looking at those numbers counting down. But it's a little more noticeable on other abilities. But it is definitely lowering the cooldowns on my basic abilities right now, so you don't have to worry about that if you were worried that was going to be missing from Crunch's kit. Something new to Crunch is the heal on every third basic attack or ability, so we're going to go ahead, take us some tower shots real quick, and then we'll head back over to Steel and see if we get healed up on every third basic attack or ability. So you see, I've got just a little bit of life still anyway, but you see a larger number pop up on every third basic attack, so which is quite nice. And it also works on abilities. So you can basic attack, and use an ability. So this gives Crunch just a little bit more sustain, which is quite nice. And right now I'm just going to demonstrate that casting Recrunch, his ultimate, will just cast the same ability. That's how I'm able to cast, well, I'm able to cast same abilities because my haste is off cooldown, but I am using Recrunch to do this. So yes, if you cast your right crunch and then Recrunch, it'll cast another right crunch. Next up, we have my girl Decker, who has changed a lot since her days in Paragon. Her passive is now Rocket Boost. It used to be her RMB. Rocket Boost, what that does is let you double jump. It's on a cooldown of 20 seconds. Whenever you land an ability, you decrease that cooldown a little bit. Her Q is no longer her stasis bomb. This is now a straight line skill shot that slows enemies and can pass through walls. Containment Fence, which used to be her ultimate, is now her E. It's a little bit smaller and on a shorter cooldown. And people can shoot through it. Ion Strike, this is now her ultimate. This calls down a beam that slows people unless they're in the center of the beam, then they get stunned. And her R&B is her good old stasis bomb. So we're going to go through and take a look at all these abilities and see a few little changes here and there. Take a look at what I consider her most iconic ability, the stasis bomb. You see, you get a pretty good target indicator. You whip it out, you beam people in the head, and you stun them. So this is her Q now. You can see it has insane range, and it does travel quite slowly. And the stasis bomb impacts on minions. This used to travel through minions. You cannot just launch this through a minion wave anymore. It will impact on minions and stun them. So that kind of sucks, and it does impact on the tower as well, but doesn't deal any damage. But I do like the targeting indicator, and you can bounce it off shit, just like you used to be able to. And I think I spent quite a bit of time trying to line a bounce up to where I could bounce it off of the wall and hit steel. You can do this in-game. I could not ever find the correct way to do it while I was messing around in here. But it does bounce off the ground, and you only get one bounce. I tried my best to get 2 skips out of it, but it always explodes off of that second bounce. Pretty damn good range on it. And you can throw it while you're jumping. And there's her rocket boost jump. So I missed him there, but as you can see, you can throw it while jumping, and you can throw it while rocket boost jumping. And after about 40 seconds of trying, I finally got a bounce stun on the steel. Then tried to recreate it and just could not. So it's possible. So if you get really good, if you're good at pool, you'll be good with Decker. Or you can just, stun them outright by aiming directly at them and stunning them. But what fun is that? There's her new cage. And I wanted to see how the cage interacted with terrain and stuff. So we're going to throw it on some minions. We'll throw it on the walls. We're going to throw it all over the damn place. And as you can see, they were able to just shoot straight. They are able to shoot straight through that cage. So it does not block projectiles from any enemies inside the cage. That's true for the minions. And that's true for those little guys. And if you throw the cage while you're up top, you see that it still extends the full way up. But if you throw it down at the bottom of something, so if you're going to be throwing this around geometry, you want to throw it high, not low, because when you throw it low, you get a low little fence that they can just jump right over. But if you throw it high, you get that big double wall.
Allied tower under attack.
As you can see, her Q has ridiculous range on it, but it is very easy to dodge. And I think we're going to test out to see if we can launch it while we're jumping. And rocket boost, by the way, rocket boots, I keep calling it boost. Rocket boots, by the way, you can jump in whatever direction. If you jump forward and then hold back and jump, you will jump backwards. So that's going to make for some really nice outplays and some really nice jukes on the battlefield. And just, jumping off a rock and then just immediately jumping backwards back onto that rock when somebody's chasing you. And here's our ultimate. You can see it has quite a bit of range. And since I hit him with the outside circle, he was slowed. Inside circle, he gets stunned. And this thing has a crazy range on it, man. It's pretty cool. And you can see the reticle looks a bit like the cage, but with just an extra circle in the middle. And I discovered while I was playing, this isn't that hard to land. You can usually tell where people are going to go, and this has a nice big range on it. I didn't even have that much trouble landing the stun portion of it, to be perfectly honest. And as you see, I'm max level right now, but I don't have any items, and it still dealt pretty significant damage to those minions. So we're going to jump down in the jungle, use our Q through the wall, and you can't really tell, but I am hitting him. You don't see the damage numbers pop up because I'm down here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to hit this and then blink up and then see if it had any effect. And I'm jumping all over the damn place. But trust me, it does go through walls. And if you see us, we launched it from high ground. It does travel downwards. And if we launch it from low ground, it does travel upwards. So it doesn't just stop when it hits a cliff. Let's try this again. Okay, yep. You see, we did hit him. We did hit him. I'm not a liar. We have Drongo, who is pretty specific to the Predecessor universe. He's not in really any of the other Paragon remakes. Wastelander is passive. Your abilities deal increased damage equal to 30% of his crit chance. And his critical strikes and abilities also apply a bleed to enemies, dealing 1% of their maximum health as physical damage for 3 seconds. Gag Grenade, same as Paragon. You throw a gag grenade on the ground, a gas grenade on the ground that silences people. Rad Rounds, same as Paragon. You activate it, and every time you shoot somebody, it stacks up, and after a while, it explodes to deal a bunch of damage. His ultimate Shrapnel Cannon, you hit people with it, and it knocks you and them back. It knocks you back way more than them. And then Old Rusty, his boomerang, you throw it out in a direction, and you can kind of guide where it returns to whenever you throw this thing, which is quite nice. Turn on our ability haste over here. And there's the gag grenade. You get the same targeting reticle as Decker, you just don't get the same range as Decker does with their stasis bomb. I gotta make sure this is how you change your cast settings, by the way. It's not per hero, but it is just per, they're global. So I wanted to make sure I had it set the quick cast, which was kind of messing me up. See how far this thing can actually go. Pretty far. Did not quite hit steel. Let's tap up a little bit here. And we hit him. So pretty good range on this thing. Pretty good duration. It's very effective, I'll tell you that right now. We see that our boomerang is applying a bleed to the target because of our crit. And as you can also see with Old Rusty, you can throw it one way, look another, and still hit them with it. So if you don't even hit them with the first one, you can still hit them with the return. And I'll go ahead and... I think I tried several different angles. I tried to throw it straight up behind me and then see if it would still hit him. But, I mean, like, see that way? I threw it all the way to the right. And I was still able to hit him. So, bear that in mind when you play him. Yeah, that didn't work throwing it behind me. But, yeah, that Old Rusty is a pretty damned good ability that can really surprise people, take them off guard. And when it impacts terrain, it bounces right back to you. So when you have no cooldowns, you can do that cool shit. But I don't think that's going to really come into much play. Here's our rad rounds. As you see, you get a timer reticle that counts down as you're going. Let's go ahead and turn these minions off. There we go. You get a countdown reticle around your aiming reticle that lets you know how much longer you have on rad rounds. So the more attack speed you have, the more rad rounds you can actually fit into that time frame window. So it's not the number of shots, it's a time frame that you can use rad rounds. And you see that they build up after a while and explode on steel. And the less rounds you hit, the less damage it does on that final pop. But you can just hit them with one and it'll still do an extra little pop of damage, which is quite nice. And there's our ultimate. As we see, we hit steel and still popped ourselves up onto this ledge over here. And you can use it by jumping, so you can jump in and then blast your way out. You could probably still, spin a 180 and shoot yourself forward if you're trying to catch somebody with this. And you see, it's knocking steel forward just a little tiny bit, not a whole hell of a lot. And it's a lot like Murdoch's buckshot in that the closer you are, the further away it knocks them. So you see it knocked him out pretty far that time that I used it very close in. Now let's demonstrate the crit damage. Let's hit him with Old Rusty here. And we're getting 24 on that bleed. So let's teleport back to base and pick up a crit item. And of course this is going to deal more damage because we're actually picking up a little bit of physical power and crit chance and such. Head back on over. And we'll hit him with Old Rusty again. So it's now doing a 29 bleed instead of a 24 bleed. So there you see how you can use your crit to affect your bleed. Feng Mao, not a lot of changes to his old Paragon kit, just a few minor things. His passive Precision Strike, upon not dealing or receiving damage for 3 seconds, Feng Mao's next basic attack is enhanced, dealing extra damage, so that's quite nice. Safeguard, that's his Q, that's his shield. And you get movement speed while you have your shield. That's a bit of a change. Blade Dance, that's the spin around him. The hamstring that slows enemies down. And dealing damage with it decreases your Reaping Dash cooldown by 75%, which is nice. Earth Shatter, you jump up in the air, you slam your spear down, and you execute people. And this does reset on executes. And Reaping Dash is a quick teleport. This now passes through enemies. I think in Paragon you couldn't go through people, but you can go through people with it in Predecessor. So we're going to see that now. You see Steel, and I'm going to target the other side of him, and I pass straight through him instead of colliding with him. This is going to give you a little better escape with old Feng Mao. And we could dash through minions too. You could dash up. You could dash all over the place. You could jump and dash. Did not quite make it over to the other side. I'm sure if I would have worked at it for hours and hours, I probably could have eventually made it to the other side by using the jump / Reaping Dash. You can blink too. So I just blinked and then used Reaping Dash, and that's how I got so goddamn far there. And if you use it from up top, you can still hit people down below, just like always. And you can initiate close to somebody and dash up to a ledge, so you can deal some damage while you're escaping. Quite nice, quite nice. And you can use it while jumping. So Reaping Dash, very versatile. And here's his shield. I mean, there's not much to say there. You get a shield, you move a little bit faster. It's nice. And then his hamstring, pretty good range on it. Love the effects on it, but it's pretty much the same. And then there's his ultimate, and you can, once you activate it, you can readjust your aiming position. You can do if you're fast enough, you can do a 360, and you can do it in the air. So you can do it while jumping, or if you want a huge delay on it, you initiate it after you Reaping Dash up into the air. I can't remember if I did some cool shit like doing a blinking Reaping Dash into the into the ultimate or not, but I do need to check to see what the cooldown reduction is like on Reaping Dash. So I'm going to dash through this tower. I don't know what I'm doing right now, to be perfectly honest. We dash through, take that buff. And I guess I completely forgot about hamstring lowering the cooldown on Reaping Dash, but it does lower it a significant amount. Not many changes. The Gadget from her old Paragon kit, her passive shock absorber gives you a shield that explodes after it expires, and this shield is applied if you take hero damage or damage from a monster, which I think only counts Fangtooth and the Prime and Mini Prime as a monster. We'll test that here in a little bit. The sticky mine still, you throw it out, it stays on the ground, and if anybody steps into it, it sticks to their head. You can stick it to your own head, you can stick it to minions' heads. Security gate, you throw this down and you walk through it to speed yourself or allies up, works on minions. Tesla Dome, you throw it down, it deals ticks of damage and slows enemies while they're inside the dome. And Seek and Destroy, you can now, as you throw it out, you can reactivate it to make it deploy. So if you overshot it, you just hit your RMB again, and it'll actually deploy your Seek and Destroy, which is a cone that comes from above that slows enemies. And her basic attack, it looks pretty damn cool. It looks very electrified, and that's pretty awesome. The minion's going to get on my nerves. We're going to throw a mine down, stick it on top of her own head, just walk into the enemy minions, and blow them up, which is a pretty damn good, pretty effective strategy on Gadget, as long as you're not getting beat in the face by a Howitzer or something. Let's turn off our cooldowns. And boom, we throw the mine out, sticks to the enemies, and explodes and deals damage to all of them. It's got pretty decent range on it. See how far away we can hit Steel. You can see it just pops immediately up on top of his head if it's a direct hit. It does take a second to arm, so you can walk out of this if you're fast enough. And there's her Seek and Destroy. This one was always a weird one to target. As you see, I reactivated it early to make it immediately go off. And you can throw this pretty damned far. And it kind of passes through terrain sometimes too. It always follows that downward arc. So if you throw it like over a ledge or something, it will actually pass through the ledge, but it will reactivate on the other side. And I do like that you can reactivate it early, which is pretty nice. So as you see right there, it went off in the jungle somewhere, but it passed through terrain to go off. So that's kind of a weird thing, weird clipping thing with her Seek and Destroy. But I've always felt that this was a little easier to target than I always thought it would be. And it does root enemies if they are damaged by it. It does not root enemy minions. It does not do damage to enemy minions. Unless I'm just not hit. Okay, see, they're walking straight through it and they're not taking any damage whatsoever. So, yeah, it definitely does not deal damage to enemy minions. Let's go find our own minion wave. Use our blink that has 0 cooldown right now because I have max haste. We throw it down, and as we can see, the minions walk through it and are sped up. Really nice for pushing a wave underneath somebody's tower while they're trying to go back to base to spend their gold. We're going to test this out on different types of terrain to see how it fares when you throw it low. So it's kind of stuck inside the wall, and we see that it does kind of pass through the wall. But if we throw it up top, it does go the full duration, the full distance of the speed gate, which is nice. It would be weird if it just kind of stuck out at a weird angle. So I like how this is done. I think it's done really well.
Minions are spawning.
So here is her ultimate. As you can see, he's taking constant ticks of damage, and he's being slowed every time he takes that damage. So her ultimate, if you throw it low, you get the globe. It extends up high. But if we throw it high, you get even more of a sphere, so it still hits everything below it. So it's a circle no matter where. It's not a semicircle or a half circle. It is a full globe every time you throw it. And there's all of our abilities at once on Steel. Poor Steel. His health regen is nuts right now. I don't know what item he has. So let's go test out her passive. And I'll show you that it doesn't work on regular jungle camps. So we see he hits us. No shield. We don't get a shield. We hit these regular old jungle camps. They're hitting us. We get no shield. Now Mini Prime, though, he hits us and we see that we do get a shield. So I have the max haste on right now, so it's a little difficult to test this out. But let's go hit Fangtooth real quick. Now the shield's going to get reapplied every time I get hit because of the full haste that I have on right now. But you'll see that it does explode. And I'm trying to take it to see if I can hit other things with the explosion. But I wasn't quite fast enough with my blinks. I turned a lot of this into a mini game for myself. But you see, if we just stand here, it does eventually explode. And you see he does take the blue damage numbers up there because he is taking damage from our shield explosion. Oh, Gideon, and it looks like they fixed his basic attack animation since the last test. That's something I complained about in a video long ago. See, that's why I criticize, guys. I want these games to succeed. I want them to be the best they are. So I offer my criticism so that they can improve like they have improved Gideon's basic attack animations. So let's look at his kit, which isn't that much different from Paragon. His passive, damaging an enemy hero with an ability, empowers Gideon's next basic attack for 4 seconds, allowing him to attach a Cosmic Tether. This deals damage and slows the enemy. This is just like his old Burden ability from old school Paragon. Cosmic Rift, same old thing. His Q, you drop a meteor out of the sky on top of people. Torn Space, you make a portal for yourself that your allies can leap through. Enemies can also leap through it, but they're slowed on the other side. Black Hole, you just jump up in the air, you create a massive black hole around you that deals constant damage and sucks people into the center. And then Void Breach, his RMB is a straight line comet that explodes on impact. This is kind of your poke tool with Gideon. I'm going to bust a quick Q on this minion wave so you can see that it seems, the reticle seems small, but it's about the same size as Gadget's mine or anything else, or the Void Bomb or anything else, and it still does a whole bunch of damage. And then there's the Straight Line Rock, his RMB, that I forgot to level up all the way. So let's see how far away we can throw that rock and still hit steel. It's got some good range on it. Not the best range, but some really good range. Plop a Q on top of his head. And you see there's the burden. After we hit him with an ability, we hit him with a basic attack. He takes that damage and he is slowed. Which is quite nice for Gideon, especially if you can... It sets up an easier Q to hit if you hit them with a straight line rock and then you hit them with the burden. And then they're slowed so that you can more easily hit them with your other rock. Your meteor coming down from the sky. And his portal, as you can see, works exactly as always. And of course, I'm turning it into a mini game by seeing if I can traverse the map without ever touching the ground. But need to get back into lane up here. Jeez, what am I doing? What am I doing right now? And straight into an enemy tower. We're going to burst right on out. It is interesting that you got to remember when you're Gideon and you think you're avoiding a gank that jungler can just jump right into the portal that you just made. And if it's a Grux, you better be waiting for that smash and grab to follow through as he comes through that portal. And there his ultimate, you see, still gets pulled into the middle. It's quite a big pull. This ultimate does a lot of damage. It is a spear, though. It is not a cylinder straight down. So if you're up really, really high, you don't do any damage. But as you can see, I'm still dealing damage to those minions. It's a pretty big sphere. But you know, if you jump off the top, oh, and I found a bug. I forgot about this. I already reported it. I already told him about it, and I was able to get out of it pretty easily. I didn't get stuck in the map or anything. But yeah, if you go up really, really high and use this above an enemy, you're not going to deal any damage to him whatsoever because it's going to miss him because, like I said, it's a spear, not a cylinder straight down. So just be aware of that whenever you're playing Gideon. And now we've got Grux. I forgot to hold still on the abilities, so we're just doing a still here. It's fine. His passive is called Bloodlust. You apply a stack of a bleed on hit, dealing 13 physical damage over 3 seconds, whatever. Stacks up to 6 times. And if you get to max stacks, you get Omnivamp on Grux, which is just healing on both basic attacks and abilities. Makes him quite the lane bully. Smash and Grab is Q. Same old Smash and Grab from Paragon. Big cone in front of you that pulls everybody in. His E is called Crush. This is like his uppercut, but with the dash involved. So you dash into the uppercut. So this is kind of an amalgamation of 2 eras of Paragon. His ultimate is called Warlord's Challenge. You slam your clubs together, you stun everybody in the area, and then for the next 8 seconds, you get 30% movement speed, and it empowers your attacks as enemy heroes repeatedly steal 4 physical power on hit. And when they say steal, they literally mean that. You're taking their physical power away from them and adding it to yourself. So this is a really good way to win a duel. The longer you fight Grux, the worse off you are. He's a little bit like Khaimera in that way. And then Double Pain, his R&B, you use both weapons to do the double chop, just like in Paragon. And it applies on-hit effect twice, so you get you get 2 stacks of the bleed from the double chop. So it's fairly the same as old Paragon. We'll cruise on over here to Steel. I'm going to hit him with basic attacks, and you're going to see that there is a bleed that is applied. So you see that. However, I don't see... Okay, the minions are pissing me off, so I went ahead... You see Smash and Grab pulls them all in, then you can quickly clear them with Double Chop, just like Double Pain, whatever it's called. Just like in the past, just like in Predecessor or Paragon's past. So we got the minions coming in. So I'm going to see if I can pass through minions with his charge, with his dash. And you see it did knock them all up, but so you can't go through them and then knock them up. So we got our abilities off of cooldown now. And as you see, we went straight through him. So it will hit, won't go through heroes, but it does go through minions. I'm not 100% certain why I came down here. And it does knock up jungle objectives, and you don't go through them, it just knocks them up. Let's see if it does it on regular minions. You pass through the first minion. Let's see if, let's get this 5-stack can. No, he just impacted directly onto those. So it seems to be a little wonky there with the charge. Sometimes it goes through minions. Sometimes it just impacts on them. we're going to use it to traverse the terrain because why not? Fun for everybody. Let's turn those fucking minions off. We're going to go ahead and take damage, and I'll show you that after the 6 stacks of your passive, you get the Omnivamp. So our basic attacks and our abilities will be healing us. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now you see the indicator popped up to the left of the screen, and it's refreshing as we're adding more stacks. And you see that we are getting healed. And then big heal with a smash and grab because that was a lot more damage than just a basic attack. And we're getting healed off of everything, so which is quite nice. Are the basic attacks healing? I can't tell. Oh, it's because I'll let it drop off. But yeah, pretty cool. He's a big old lane bully. You see the double chop applies 2 stacks, which is nice. And then you got the uppercut stun. Grux is just always very dangerous. And we see the attack speed, and his clubs light up to let you know that he is in his ultimate. And you saw the little micro stun whenever you used your ultimate. And then there was an indicator on the left-hand side to show that we had increased physical power because we had stolen that from poor old Steel. Pretty good range on the smash and grab. However, you cannot use it while jumping, which makes sense to me. I know you can in Overprime, but not in Predecessor. You have to wait till you hit the ground to use your smash and grab. Other stuff, though, you can use while jumping. So that will actually teleport you off in a straight line if you're up on the ledge. But if you jump and do it, it takes you straight down to the ground. So straight line if you're on the ground on a ledge, but if you jump and use your rushing chop thingy, how did I already forget the name? I just talked about it. Then you don't get it. You just go straight down to the ground. Howitzer has changed quite a bit, not only since Paragon, but since the last Predecessor stress test. His passive gives you extra damage on your basic attacks, and you can lower the cooldown on that. It's just like an explosion around your basic attack. And his basic attacks do cleave, so that's nice that that's still there. The R2000 rocket, still the same as always. Fire a long-range missile, deals a bunch of damage. Landmine, you pop out the landmine on the ground, you activate it again to boop yourself or the enemies. I cannot target this for shit in the game. Make it rain, this is a big change here. You fly up in the air, you target a bunch of missiles that kind of home in on a target, like they just follow your reticle. It'll make more sense when I show it off. And then the slow grenades, you pop down like a whole big field of slow grenades, like a field of very dangerous daisies. And they don't really do a whole hell of a lot of damage to people, but they are annoying when you're going up against the Howitzer. So we'll get the lane. And you see there's the slow mines. You see it pops a whole bunch of them up. And if it pops directly on top of them, they explode. I need to check my settings again. Make sure that I'm on normal cast for all these. I am. But you see, there's no real targeting reticle there. There's no indicator. You just kind of bloop them out, and then they start dealing damage. And if they walk into them, of course they take damage. And once they deal damage once, they're cleared, and they only last for so long. Now there's the R2000 rocket, same as always. And let me turn my cooldowns off. Not that it has much of a long cooldown at max level anyway. And so you see, you don't even need to hit your target. It does an explosion around the rocket, so you just have to hit somewhere near them, and you'll deal damage with the R2000 rocket. And there's our boop mine. Let's see if we can boop ourselves up. We can boop ourselves up to the ledge. And you can jump and fire. And if you jump and you kind of hold in the air, you can make some weird plays with this by holding while you're firing your R2000 rocket. So it has a pretty large area, not huge. As you see, they were walking into it that time, so they took that damage. But it's not even enough to clear a minion wave, so it's not like a huge amount of damage on those slow mines. So they do slow you, so they're hard to walk through, but you know, it's not gonna kill you to walk through his mines for the most part, unless you're really low health. Should probably caveat that. The boot mine as well, you don't have an indicator for that either. And I've been finding that also extremely hard to target since there is no indicator for the boot mine. But I guess it's true to the Paragon way. Just get the range on that R2000 rocket. So you can see I'm like, that's like a full lane away pretty much. And I'm still hitting no steel with it. And the boot mine does not affect minions. It just deals damage to them, doesn't actually boop them. And as you can see, that basic attack was empowered, so it did extra damage. And the basic attacks are cleaving. We saw it once again. And you see the indicator to the left, the UI indicator for the cooldown of that extra powerful basic attack. And there's his ultimate. And you can use all your basic abilities. You can basic attack after you're falling, but you fly up in the air, you fire a whole crap load of rockets. This thing, it's very easy to get a kill with. Very easy to get a kill with. You see our stuff is our passive is once again on cooldown, but once we hit an ability, it decreases the cooldown quite a bit. So you can basic attack through all your abilities, basic attack again for some extra damage. Let's turn our cooldowns back off. And without cooldowns, the boot mine is pretty damn powerful. Now his ultimate, I found, unless they went into stasis or they were able to hide behind a tower or hide behind the wall or something, it was damn near a guaranteed kill. So you've got the item, there's the items are the last part of this video. You've got an item that decreases your cooldown, your ultimate cooldown by 25% when you achieve a takedown. And yeah, you're almost always just going to be decreasing the cooldown on that by 25%. So Howitzer's ultimate can spiral out of control really fast. Bye, Steel. We've got some changes to Kallari's kit since the old Paragon days. Shadow Dance, that's her triple jump. You can now do that as her passive. Shadow Walk, that's her Q that puts you in stealth, so she still goes into stealth. And but the thing is, if she's anywhere around an enemy hero, she's revealed. Like you can see her outline, so it's a little easier to spot Kallari and Pred than normal. Death Marker E, you mark them. Well, you activate this, and if you hit them with either an ability or a basic attack, after a certain period of time, they take damage based on their missing health. So you activate this, go in, deal a bunch of damage, get out, and then this deals even more damage. It's very dangerous. Guillotine, which is her ultimate, that's her old school original Paragon ultimate where she slides through. You know, she spins through the targets. And Crippling Dagger, you have 2 charges of this, and this is just her, long range dagger that slows people. And deals additional damage to jungle monsters. I'm going to show off the targeting reticle for Guillotine, and we're going to slide right through that wave and deal a shitload of damage. It does a whole lot of damage, Guillotine does. And there's our triple jump. You can alternate your direction of travel while you're jumping. I'll go ahead and turn my cooldowns off. It is on a cooldown. You can't just always do it. But I do have cooldowns turned off now, so I can always do it. I just wanted to demonstrate that you can jump in whatever direction you wish with Kallari. And of course, I turned this into a mini game of trying to see where I could jump up to with Kallari. So now we go into stealth. You can see it looks about the same. You still got the you got the countdown around your reticle to let you know how long you have in stealth. Basic attack strings are pretty much the same. And that ring around you is that's how you know when enemies can actually see you. They can see your outline, not the full character model, but it's pretty easy to see. And the knife, of course, is stupid long range. It's about the same as Howitzer's rocket, but it doesn't have the explosion on the end, so a little bit shorter to actually hit somebody with the knife, but still a surprising range on her knife. And with the two charges of it, very dangerous, very dangerous. So we just marked him with our E, and you see it explodes after a while to deal damage. And we can apply that with a basic attack, or we can apply it with whatever we wish. So there's the guillotine ultimate again. And it looks like we missed him with our we didn't hit him with the very end of it. So we can dash through him and then dash up to somewhere. So you can use guillotine as an escape tool as well, or an engage really. Let's see if we can do it out of midair. We can. I kind of messed that up though. Let's try again. All right, very cool. So we activated our E, and then we threw a dagger, and you see that he is marked. And he took that extra damage. And we applied our mark with our ultimate as well. So you can apply that mark with anything you can do with Kallari except for double jump. You can't just double jump on somebody and apply a mark. So yeah, she's very, very strong because she comes in. You know, she activates her E, she like double daggers, hits you a couple times, ults out, and you think you're safe, and then boom, that big explosion of damage hits you, and you're dead. So unless you have a stasis to immune it, or a handy Muriel around to shield it, what's up, Muriel? Then you're pretty much screwed. She's very dangerous in Predecessor. I'm glad that they made it to where she's somewhat visible, because yeah, she would be an absolute monster if she still had the same visibility issues. Well, I wouldn't say issues, mechanics, the same visibility mechanics. I'm kind of happy that they changed it up. Let's see if we can get all the way up here. Whoop! Yay! Oh, we can't stand though. I was sliding off. I apparently forgot to screenshot Khaimera's abilities. I apologize for that, but his passive is still Spirit Stack, stacks up to 20 and heals him, will increases his health regeneration whenever he lands a basic attack or an ability. His Q is still maxes out his attack speed, and then his E, it has an active component now. His E is his Spirit Regeneration stacks, but now you can activate it early to heal yourself and make yourself CC immune. His RMB is still ambush, and you can ambush jungle monsters or heroes. And then his ultimate it's still call, but it's no longer a lock one. It's just an AoE in front of him, a point of origin AoE in front of him, so you can miss it if you place it wrong. Which with people moving around and stuff, I've definitely seen some Khaimeras miss their ultimates. As you see there, boom, that did not hit him. So if you if somebody moves out of this, that you know they get stunned and everybody else gets knocked back and stuff when you hit it. But you can stun multiple people now, which is nice. But you can miss this, so be careful, be wary. Go ahead and demonstrate how his E works. So we can ambush in to the mini prime here. And I just activated his E, so that knockback did not hit me. So if you activate it at just the right moment, you won't get affected by any CCs whatsoever, and that includes jungle monsters. We'll wait until he does it again, and I didn't activate my E, so I got knocked back that time. So as you can see too, it provides a pretty substantial heal. So Khaimera pretty strong. I still don't think he's I don't think he's as strong as Kallari, really, for junglers, especially for ganking. Definitely still great for taking objectives and such, but I think Grux and Kallari are probably just better junglers. Sevarog is an absolute beast, too, both in lane and in the jungle. So, boom, we can ambush into the red. And we can ambush into regular jungle camps. Not much change for Murdoch. His passive is shots fired every 6 seconds. Your next basic attack has increased range and it's powered with 30% physical pin. Kind of like he used to have his passive from Paragon, his oldest or newest, whatever. His latest addition in Paragon. Static Trap is Q. You throw down a trap at arms after like a split second. If they walk into it, they get rooted. And it does some damage. Max charges 2. You can have a total of 5 out on the battlefield all at once. Stim Pack is E. This is pretty new. This injects a stimulant. Increases your move speed by a certain for a little bit. And it gives you slow immunity. So you can't be slowed while you're chasing somebody down with Murdoch, and it automatically activates whenever you drop below 30% maximum health. Oh, and it's a heal too. I don't think I mentioned that. It heals you. Long Dong of the Law, good old-fashioned Murdoch ultimate. This does have a little bit of a delay to it, so you do have to lead your target a bit if they're moving. And then his RMB, the good old buckshot, you do a buckshot that with your pistol, and it pushes people back, and the closer they are to you, the longer distance they're pushed back. So as you see, you get a little bit of extra range with your shots that it is on cooldown. And it does deal a little bit extra damage whenever it is off cooldown. There's the Static Trap. Same old Static Trap as always. And we're going to go ahead and turn our cooldowns back off. And see if we can throw 5 of them out at once. And see what happens if we try and exceed 5. So we got 1, 2. Alright, let's place another one, and that one disappears. So you can have 5 out total, and if you can throw another one out. I don't know why you would ever have this much ability haste on Murdoch, but you can throw another one out, but the first one will disappear. So you could definitely you could pepper a lane with these pretty well. So yeah, that his basic gives you that one extra shot that you could really. It's really good for just poking in lane. Just you're clearing your minions. That shot comes off cooldown. You pop the other ADC when he thinks he's out of range. Then there's our buckshot. Get a bit of a knockback, and it's got quite the range on it. And you see, he only moved a little bit until I moved in next to him. Once I moved in next to him, it was much more of a knockback. Run around a bit. See if we can push him into our trap. Oh no, okay, let's lay another one a little bit closer. I'm not quick enough on the buttons. Boom, and boom, there we go. Knocked him into our trap. Just roots him. I'm just having fun. Just dicking around. This mode is really fun to just mess around with. You can buy items too, and you get unlimited gold. You can buy as many items as you want. So there's our targeting reticle for the ultimate. And you see it takes it a little bit. It winds up. Like I hit the button and it winds up a little bit and then fires. So you definitely need to lead your shots a little bit. It's not doing any damage to the towers because abilities do not deal damage to towers. But you can see it is cross map, as long range as you could possibly want. It does pierce terrain as well, if you didn't know that. So I'm firing it as fast as humanly possible here, without to just show that it does still take, about a 0.75 seconds or something for it to actually fire off. Here's a better representation of how much range you get with that passive shot. I mean, it should be hitting him because my crosshairs are red. This might be a little bit of a bug. I'm gonna have to let them know about that. But of course, you're not going to be able to fire them off in quick succession like this because I have the cooldowns off. But yeah, that's quite a bit of range, but just beware. I guess that the reticle doesn't always indicate that you can actually hit them with that shot. We'll turn our haste off. And boom, there's the shot. And now we see he's, well, no, he's still in range. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the shot is bugged. I'll have to check with them. Okay, let's see. Now we're in range. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this with his passive, man. Got Muriel, who is an aggressive ADC's wet dream in Predecessor, let me tell you. So her basic attacks deal an additional percentage of magic damage, and an allied target that's affected by your shielding also gets to deal that extra percentage of magical damage. Her Q, Serenity, you fire a bolt of energy that hits enemies, and it slows them by 25% for 2 seconds. And then targets that are slowed by this take 10% increased damage from all sources. So again, you're setting up your ADC. E, Consecrated Ground, you throw the bubble out. It's just like our old E. It shields anybody that's inside the bubble. Well, not enemies. It shields allies inside the bubble. And then it explodes for not enough damage to go mid lane with her. God damn it. Her R&B, Alacrity, this is the thing where she throws out the ball that will shield a hero. This is a skill shot, though, so you actually have to hit your crackhead ADC with this, or they're just not going to get the shield. If you do throw it out and it doesn't hit anybody, it stays on the ground for your ADC to completely walk around, ignore, and then blame you for not shielding them. Her Reversal of Fortune ultimate, you prepare to take flight. You activate this, and then your targeting comes up. You can't do this super quick. It takes a little bit of time to do this in the game. But you activate your R, you pick a target anywhere on the map. This goes cross map, and you fly over to them, shielding your target, and nearby enemies take a bunch of magical damage, and they're knocked out for 1 second. As opposed to 9 months. I had to get that in. All right, so let's walk around and do some things with Muriel. Let's shield our other Muriel. As you see, that right click goes pretty far. Turn our haste off. And this is our Q. Not much range on it, so you have to get up close and personal to actually slow somebody with her Q, but they are going to be taking all that additional damage. And you see the magic, that's a good chunk of magic damage. That's actually more than her basic attack damage right now, because I do have her maxed out to full level. And so that extra magical damage on her attacks is going to be really nice for you and your ADC. There's her bubble. Of course, it's not shielding steel, but it is doing a very small amount of damage when it explodes. And then if I walk into it, I get shielded as well. So let's walk up to our friendly Muriel. And we throw that shield on her. It doesn't really show on her health bar here, but it does show in the game. And yeah, she's just not receiving any shielding whatsoever. I think that's just the training modes. Trust me, it shields them. It shields them, it shields you. And you can just throw it on the ground. So we're going to head back. See, we targeted it, and then we fly straight to her. So anywhere on the map, you could do this Reversal of Fortune. This is what makes... I mean, there's a lot of things that make Muriel good, but this is what really makes her a standout hero, is being able to do exactly this and be a global presence on the map. And it interests me how long it took to actually enter the targeting mode, so you could definitely stun her out of this pretty easy with just about anybody that has a stun. So just be careful of that when you're playing Muriel. So let's see if we can throw the shield through the wall. We cannot. It just applied to us. So her shield, her RMB does not go through walls. We can throw it on the ground in front of us and pick it up. So if you need to shield yourself real quick, that's what you do. You just throw it straight at your feet. At your little tootsies. And you see we give ourselves just a little bit of attack speed. And we're giving it... It's not really giving us extra power, but it would give your ADC extra power to shield them. So I think Muriel is going to be one of those She's going to be sorely underestimated in this game, but a really good Muriel is going to just really empower your ADC. Got Big Daddy Bash rolling in. He's got a new passive called Beat Drop. This gives him rhythm stacks, and it increases the efficacy of your abilities the more rhythm stacks you have. And at max stacks, you get 2 mana regen, and that's increased by however many allied heroes are near you. His Q, March, this increases yourself, your allies, and minions, increases their movement speed, and this the amount of time that you're in that movement speed is increased by rhythm stacks, and it grants 6 rhythm stacks on use. Song of My People, that's his heal. You press E, you heal, you toggle it on and off. You press E, you start healing. If you have to press E again to stop healing, because it does suck up mana pretty quickly, and then the efficacy of the heal is increased per your rhythm stack, and it grants 1 rhythm stack every second that it's active. You can't just wham on your E, toggle it on and off to get 24 minion rhythm stacks really quickly. You have to leave it running. Thunk is R&B, the good old classic. You throw your thumbstick and knock somebody out. You stun them for a second. Deals a pretty good magical damage, and its cooldown is reduced by 1% per rhythm stack. So if you can be tossing thunks like crazy if you're keeping an eye on your rhythm stacks and keeping that stacked up. And your basic attack also gives you 2 rhythm stacks. So if you're beating somebody, that works. Crash Bang Boom is ultimate. You start drumming. It slows everybody in an area. After you're done drumming, you knock them up and stun them for 1.5 seconds. And you gain rhythm stacks, 2 rhythm stacks every time this deals damage to somebody, which is really nice. Then, of course, Narbash's greatest asset is his big ol' ass. People often underestimate that. He's really good for body blocking people, and he's really good for standing in the way of your opponent's shots so you can shield for your ADC. There's his basic attack string. And then we'll activate his Q in a second to give us some attack speed. There we go. You see that blue circle around you? That's everybody in that circle. When you activate it, we'll get that movement speed. So let's turn our minions on. Let's go find our minions. And there's our heal. You see how long that extends. That's quite the range for his heal. And you can see the rhythm stacks above the left, the indicator to the left of his abilities. And there's Thunk. As you can see, pretty long range on Thunk and a pretty large targeting area too. So pretty easy to get Thunk. It does get caught on minions just like always. But I love Thunk. Thunk's one of those iconic abilities. So as you can see, we can actually heal our minions up too. So his heal does affect minions. Let's go find our minions and speed them up. What's up, guys? Get in there. So it does work. Your heal and your speed boost does work on minions, which is kind of cool. And there's his ultimate. You can see our rhythm stacks they're already up to 24. And again, it does affect minions. You can damage minions with this. So Narbash just a very useful support all around. You gotta love you some Narbash, and you can move around. You can move around quite a bit whenever you're using his ultimate. I wanted to see if it was hitting steel, but there's no way to get up there fast enough to see if it was actually going through. Yeah, I can't quite get it, so I can't really tell you whether or not it goes through walls. I mean, it did hit him while I was jumping down there. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not 100% certain. Not too many changes to Rampage. His King of the Jungle, which was his E originally in Paragon. I don't know if you knew that or not. It's just a straight up passive now. You get 20 attack speed and 2.1 health regeneration while in the jungle. And the health regeneration is ×4 out of combat. His boulder throw, that's his Q. You rip a boulder out of the ground and then you throw it at somebody, hit him in the face. It does have a timer on it. You can't just walk around mean mugging people with the boulder. You gotta freaking throw that thing in a timely manner. But when you're in your ultimate, this is an instant rock throw and rock pull and throw. Rumble, his E is the ground and pound that they ended up giving him instead of his leap in Paragon. Now he just has this on his E, and he still has pounce his leap on his right click, which you can activate early by pressing it. Well, I think by basic attacking while in the animation to drop down early. And then Behemoth, his ultimate, you get real big, you increase your regeneration and your abilities. Your rock throw is instance, which is quite nice. And the cooldown of his E is also decreased by 50% while you're in your ultimate. A little blinded by the light right now. We're going to pull the rock out and toss it at Steel, and we hit him. So the rock, it isn't infinite range, but it does have really, really crazy range on it. And it does pass through minions, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it breaking on a minion whenever you're throwing this in lane. So let's step up here, see if we hit him. Just a little short, aim a little bit higher. And boom, we got him. And it does pretty decent damage. So let's see how far we can throw it. See, it used to be you could throw this thing all the way across the map, but it looks like it has a little more gravity to affect it now. So you can't throw it quite as far. I can still see some people pulling off some crazy artillery rampage plays. And there's the ground and pound. Just deals damage and slows. And you can keep moving. It doesn't root you in place. You can keep moving forward when you use it, which is cool. And I do like the effects of him splashing in the water right there. So there's the pounce. And then I can't really tell you when I'm activating it early. Right there, I activated it early by basic attacking while in the pounce. So I just jumped over him. Now let's reactivate it. And we reactivate it and jumped right down on top of him. So just don't get confused. I think back in Paragon you had to... I don't think it was basic attacks that pulled you out of it. I think it was reactivating the ability. Let's take some damage now and see what our regen is like in the jungle. He's so beefy. Look at all these tower shots he's taking. I don't even have items on him right now. And we're going to see... And we see that regen kick in. And he is... It kicked in for a little bit. And then it hit the ×4. So it's just... You're going to take quick dips into the jungle with the Rampage and heal up to full pretty easily. Let's see if we can hit Steel with this rock from way back here. Nope, I hit something. I hit another rock in the way. I didn't see it because of the foliage. The foliage, as Marge Simpson would say. But we did hit him that time. So yeah, I'm expecting a lot of crazy, cool Rampage rock plays still. But not quite as far as it used to go. Take a little more damage here. And there's our ultimate, and you see we get a bunch of health regen. Our rock is instant throw. And our smash, which I have cooldowns off right now, but the smash is reduced by 50%. So pretty much same old Rampage as always. You do jump a little bit further, it seems, whenever you do your pounce. But yeah, cool stuff. Love me some Rampage. My boy, Big Dick Rick. They haven't changed him a whole lot. They've just given him a few quality of life improvements. His passive is called Riot Shield. When it gives you a 12% of his maximum health as a shield. And when you're out of combat for 8 seconds, you get that back. Makes it nice in lane if you're playing him support. Makes it nice in lane if you're playing him off lane or jungle too. Shock Therapy. This is his standard Q. You whip out your pimp chain and silence somebody. Electrocute, his E, you create a shock field around you. You also get 10% movement speed whenever you activate this. So this can be a nice little engage tool. And then his R&B is, of course, Riplash, his good old hook. I find that it goes a little higher than your aim point. So if you're going to be using this, like I was used to Fault where you would aim between the head and their health bar. You got to aim for their belly button in Predecessor. Skewer, this is his good old ultimate. He stands in place, pops a bunch of chains out of his belly, stuns everybody inside the chains. When they retract, they take additional damage. The nice thing about Skewer with Predecessor is you get Riot Shield whenever you activate it, so you get a little bit of a shield when you stand in place and get beat up by the enemy. Head over into lane here. I'm going to take a little bit of damage from this tower so I can show you how the Riot Shield activating. And it was already active there, and the tower took it off, so we're going to exit combat for a little bit. Wait for it. And there we go. There's our riot shield activated. There's our basic attack animations. Fucking minions. Let's turn the minions off. Head on back over here to steal. And there's our silence. There's our Q. Make sure that I got my settings right. Yep. I recorded these all over the place because we were playing games the whole time, and I sacrificed a lot of game time to make this for you guys, alright? It hurt, but I did it. So there's his shockwave around him, and you see it does give him some movement speed. You see the little, you see him, well, move faster, of course, but then you see the blue highlights on his legs, lets you know that that person is moving a little more quickly. And it deals that damage all around him. Very nice. Looks really good. And there's it. I like the reticle. I usually go instant cast on this, but I do like the reticle for Riplash. It does not tell you exactly when you can hit him, but you see that. You see how his health bar got those two little side things? There they are, and then I pull him in. And I have his health bar offset. Usually the health bar is over the head. I found that with Riktor, when trying to instant cast Riplash, I would lose my targeting reticle inside my health bar if I was trying to aim downhill. So I set his health bar to be offset. There's a lot of different settings you can do within the game, which is quite nice. Let's see if we can Riplash minions. Jungle minions, you cannot. I mean, it hits them. It does the damage. It just doesn't pull them to you. Riktor always runs like he's got he didn't wipe his ass well enough.
Minions are spawning.
So let's see if we can actually hook whoa, weird targeting there. Let's see if we can hook a lane minion. The hook's just a little much too much damage for the river buff there. We'll take some damage so I can show you that his ultimate activates the riot shield. Boom, we pop the ultimate, and we see that we also got the riot shield. So it's not a full 180 in front of you. But you do get a pretty good slice for that ultimate. You can miss it. You see a lot of people miss it. I've missed it. But yeah, you can Riplash lane minions. So be aware of that. Whenever you're in lane, you don't want to grab a minion when you want to be grabbing a hero. But if you did want to grab a minion, you can. And yeah, it does not go through walls, of course. And you also cannot cast Riplash while jumping, unfortunately. I'm trying to do it right now, and it's not working. You can activate his Q, and you can activate his E while you're jumping. And you can pull people up on top of ledges, which is kind of cool. Get back here. See if I can pull him back into his location. Get down. Okay, there we go. We reset him. We reset him with our Riplash. So that's kind of cool that they do. You know, you can pull people off of ledges and pull people off of stuff. Sevarog, who was by far one of the strongest heroes I've played in Predecessor. He is just really good in Pred. Your Reaper of Souls, this is his old stacking passive where you get stacks with any of your abilities, Soul Siphon, or Subjugate, or Colossal Blow. Any ability that deals damage, you can get your stacks from. You get one stack for a lane minion, you get one stack for small jungle minions, 3 stacks for the larger camps, and 3 stacks per hero. And his Siphon, his Q, that's what you get your stacks off of. This just deals magic damage in a cone in front of you. His E, Subjugate, there's a circular reticle. When you call down the Subjugate, it roots any enemies that are hit. His RMB, his Phantom Rush, this is just a dash forward. And Colossal Blow, he swings his hammer and knocks everybody in the area back. It used to just execute minion waves in Paragon. It does not in Predecessor. But, yeah, Sevarog, almost Gadget levels of broken, in my opinion. Just from the little bit that I fucked around with him. But, I just took him in the off lane, and holy crap, does he feel good. And yes, his shoulders do get larger the more stacks you get. It's 60, 80, 100, 120. We cruise into lane. And you see the reticle there. It used to be just straight line. It was kind of a rectangular indicator. But now we've got more of a cone. So you're able to get more minions with each hit whenever you're using the stack. And I love how that creepy hand comes out whenever he uses it. And grabs their soul.
Under siege.
So here's Subjugate. Really long range on Subjugate. Feels really good to target and not all that hard to land. Saw a lot of really good Subjugates when we were playing. And his Phantom Rush, it only goes along the ground. Yeah, you can't go AGL with this. You can't boost up to a ledge with the Phantom Rush. You can only go along the ground. And I'm not 100% certain why we're taking damage right now. Oh, it's because Soul Siphon heals you. And you see that we get stacks from using Subjugate instead of Soul Siphon. So if you miss with the Soul Siphon and there's still one up to get a stack on, you can just hit him with the old Subjugate. There's the Colossal Blow. We see we knock Steel way away from where he was standing. But we'll hit these minions. And not all of them died. So we just finish them off with a quick Subjugate. I'm going to try, because that looked like a lot of those minions. I may have missed them. So let's go ahead and just get this full minion wave here. And I'll show you that the Colossal Blow does not always execute minions. And you see the minions, they get the mad face whenever you've aggroed them. So I've got all those minions in the wave with the Colossal Blow, but it did not execute them. I mean, damn close, but not quite.
Enemy tower is under attack.
And you see the heal that we got from Soul Siphoning. Now let's head into the jungle, and I'll show you how many stacks you get.
Under siege.
Get this guy nice and low. There we go. We went from 22 to 25, so we got 3 stacks from the buff monster. So let's see how many stacks we get from just regular old jungle camps. Just one. It went from 25 to 26. Let's see, this big guy went from 26 to 27. So just 1 stack. If you're wondering where the indicator is, to the left of my ability bar is his passive, and that's where the indicator for how many stacks you have are. So I'm just going to stack the crap out of these minions and bring you back when my shoulders... Well, my shoulders are starting to get a little bit larger, but I haven't even reached one of the goals yet. But I'll bring you back whenever we're at 60, and then I'll show you that his shoulders do evolve. Okay, I lied. We're going to attack Fangtooth, and I'll show you that you get 3 stacks from Fangtooth as well. I don't know why I'm just not QQing on him. And boom, there we get our 3 stacks. All right, we're about to hit 60 stacks, so you will see his shoulders grow. And there we are. You see his shoulders got a little bit bigger. And we're about to get 80 stacks. I think I misjudged it. I thought we got him at 80. 90 stacks, my bad. Okay, let's get 90 stacks. By this time I had learned I could just stand there and Q the shit out of them. Okay, now we're about to hit our 90 stacks. Is it 80 or 90? Okay, we just hit 90. Okay, yeah, they got a little bit bigger. They're almost touching in the middle. And we're finally going to finish our stacks. You'll see him get real big and spiky. And if you see a big spiky Sevarog, you see them big spikes growing out, you know not to fuck with him. Late game Sevarog that's fully stacked like that, always difficult to deal with. I will show you that you get 3 stacks from an enemy hero, but I do need to go buy some magical damage because that steel has so much health regeneration that it really takes a lot to actually drop him. You can't do it without some items. And we're back to being a little baby shoulder, Sev. And I've got me some magical damage, and we're just gonna Q the dog shit out of this steel, and we see we have 0 stacks. Now we have 3. You get 3 stacks from a hero. Now we've got Sparrow. Her passive is Relentless. This applies to the target and stacks up. And each stack of Relentless, you deal an additional 0.5% of their maximum health as bonus physical damage on hit per stack. So she can shred tanks fairly well in the late game. Stacks up for 5 seconds, so you can have Relentless on multiple targets. And Inner Fire, I do believe, stacks Relentless. And we all know what Inner Fire does. It's her ultimate that fires a cone of arrows. Hail of Arrows, this is her Q and AoE. That a rain of arrows comes down and slows enemies. Pretty significant slow. It's reapplied every time they get hit. Her E heightened senses. This just increases your attack speed and allows you to stack up Relentless pretty easily. And you can maintain this by landing more basic attacks while in the heightened senses. Piercing shot. This is where she charges up her bow and fires a long range skill shot that pierces terrain. And the more stacks of Relentless they have on them, the harder this is going to hit. So if you're catching somebody that's running after you hit them a bunch of times, it's going to hurt. Inner Fire, she fires a triangle of arrows. I'll show you later. She gets 200 plus 200 attack range and 10 physical power, and she gets 5% movement speed while she's channeling this thing.
Your skill
So to Relentless charge up this, well, let's head over to Steel. Show you that, as you can see, she's dealing more and more damage every time she hits. Goddamn minions, get out of me. Get out of here. Out of here, minions. Ain't nobody likes you. Okay, no more minions. So, as I was saying, you can see Relentless stacks up. But, you gotta wait. Like, if you wait for a while, that drops off and you kind of reset and you're back to dealing the same amount of damage. But if you keep hitting those shots, you're going to be dealing more and more damage. And we capped out at 124, which is pretty damn good. And then we activate our E. That gives us the attack speed. Makes it even faster to stack those Relentless shots. And it lasts even longer because we're hitting those shots over and over again. You can see the buff to the left. It shows up in blue on the left side of the screen. Hail of Arrows. As you can see, it rains down the arrows in an AoE. The slow is pretty good. I mean, it's a 20% slow, which is nothing to turn your nose up at. And she has no escape, so you kind of have to use this as the escape. So here's her piercing shot. We have to step in close. We get a red reticle whenever we can hit it. And the longer you charge it up, the more damage it's going to deal. And it does, as we can see here, boom, we hit him through the wall. It does pierce terrain, just like it used to back in the old Paragon days. Turn the minions back on. And there's our ultimate. You can see her legs are blue because she has movement speed while she was doing her ultimate. And you're going to see that the side arrows are only dealing a little bit, but the main arrows deal a lot more. And we're also getting Relentless stacks. That's why the damage keeps increasing. But if we hit him with the side arrows, it's not nearly as much as if we hit him with the main arrow. And I tested it out to see if you could just shotgun all the arrows into him at once and hit him with all that damage. And no, it doesn't work like that. You just get credit for the first arrow. But it does pierce through all the minions. It's just as fun as always. Let's see if it pierces through terrain. It does not pierce through terrain. It does pierce through enemies and minions, not terrain. And her arrows leave a little flat, little shiny arrow behind. Still nothing compared to the Fae, which we'll get to later. Apparently I'm getting gold for something. I don't know what I'm getting gold for. Oh, we're going to max out our attack speed, which is kind of hilarious. I forgot I did this. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm getting. I'm just making sure that it has attack speed. I wanted to see how long we could keep Relentless up. Look at that machine gun Sparrow. And I'm trying to make smiley faces on the wall, of course. Alright, and then we got Relentless up. And even with max haste, we can't keep it up forever. Because he dies. Oh, max attack speed is so crazy. They do have a cap on attack speed. I think it's 2 attacks per second, maybe 3 attacks per second. I'll have to ask. But you can't just crank it up to where you're machine gunning. But, I mean, we were still losing stacks of Relentless throughout. Like, it was going down. We wouldn't be able to keep that up forever.
Enemy tower under attack.
Not Relentless. Heightened Senses. My bad. And you see that her ultimate is affected by attack speed. So you can get a lot more damage out of her ultimate with the more attack speed you have. But for the most part, I think people will probably just still be building crit. Steel! His passive is called Battering Barrier. Every time you immobilize an enemy, stun them, hit them with Bull Rush, hit them with your ultimate, whatever, you get a fairly large shield. Bull Rush is Q. You rush forward, you knock enemy heroes back. If it's a monster or something, you just stun them. Force Shield, that's his E. You throw down a big deployable shield that blocks projectiles, and anybody that walks through it, enemies that walk through it, are slowed, and they take a little bit of damage. His right click, his shield bash, you just swing your shield in front of you and smash somebody in the face, and it stuns them. So the bonk, once again, stuns. It's really nice. And it's an AoE stun, too. You can catch multiple people with this. And then his ultimate shield slam. Everybody knows this one. It's the John Cena. You come off the top ropes, out of the sky, slam down with your shield, and knock everybody up. And deal a pretty good chunk of damage and stun them. Hey, Steel, how you doing? I'm Steel. I've always loved Steel's just out there punching the shit out of people. Everybody else has got all kinds of crazy weapons and guns and stuff. He's just bopping people. So you see the white outline around Steel right now. That's the shield that you get for immobilizing a target. Check my cast settings once again. See, I have that set to instant. Let's go to normal cast so we can actually see the indicator for Bull Rush. And there you go. Fairly long. And we hit him at the very tip of the deck right there. So let's see if he's pushed back. Turn on ability haste so I can just constantly spam this thing. Hit him at the very end of it again. He goes pretty much to the wall. Let's see if we can knock him back even further by push. No, he went back about the same distance, it seemed. So it doesn't seem to matter how far away they are from you when you hit them with the Bull Rush. It could be max range or it could be right in front of them. They get knocked back about the same distance. The difference, of course, being that you'll be right on top of them if you do it a little closer. And you cannot, once you start it, you can't curve it. You can't bend it like Beckham. It's not like a Reinhardt charge. So once you start it, once you activate it, you can change your direction. Like I've got the indicator there. I activate it, and then I can quickly change and change the direction that I'll Bull Rush in. But you can't curve it. So we see he gets slowed and a little bit of damage from being in my shield wall. But we do not get a shield from this because he's not stunned or anything. So throw the shield wall down on the ground so it's clipping through the wall, and you see that it just does straight clip through the wall as it should. Well, let's try and throw it up high. Let's get the target indicator to go up high. Throw it down once again. And it does not extend down to the ground. So keep that in mind. It doesn't work the same way as like Tesla Dome and other such abilities, which I don't think it should. So there's his bonk. You see we get the stun and we get the shield. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. charge through and bonk and have a lot of fun with it. Now his ultimate, you get the same old, it's a fairly close range, but still very, very, very effective. Pretty large targeting reticle too. It doesn't matter where you hit them, they take the same amount of damage and they get stunned. There's the full steel combo right there, and you see the steel, the shields stack atop each other. So I'm getting multiple shields for doing that. Come up out of the bushes and surprise, motherfucker. Now let's see about how the charge works over terrain. Okay, so we can jump and use his ultimate. Blink, ult. Yeah, so you can blink up and then still use his ultimate. If I had this one instant cast, this would be a lot easier to do. I'm just having a little bit of fun. Just having a little fun, guys. Now I think I went down to the jungle to see what happens to jungle minions as well. So we saw that it displaces steel. Let's see what it does to a jungle minion. I don't know why his shield isn't fading. Oh, it's because I have the yeah, it's because I picked up the jungle buff from the river, so I'm going to let that fall off. That's not the shield that I was getting from using abilities. That's the shield I got because I bull rushed through that jungle buff. Or bonked it. I forget which one I bonked and which one I bull rushed. Okay, it's gone. So we do not get a shield for the bonk. We do not get a shield for the bull rush. But we see that the bull rush does stun them. So that's a little unfortunate that you don't get a shield for hitting minions. Let's see if we get one for hitting Fangtooth. We do not get a shield for... Of course, Fangtooth also I don't think is getting stunned by this stuff. So he's not immobilized. But yeah, there you have it. Probably still a pretty good jungler. That's the thing with Predecessor, their jungle is really easy. My girl, the Fae. Her passive, Nature's Vengeance. Whenever you kill somebody, it spawns Untamed Growth. That's the exploding flower, AoE flower that she does. And gives her 15% movement speed. I underestimated this. This is actually really good in major team fights. Like, you get flowers popping off all over the place. Bramble Patch, her Q. This is a straight line skill shot that slows enemies and deals 1 tick of damage. It persists for 5 seconds, but they only ever take 1 tick of damage from this. And they only get slowed once. Harvest Nettles, this is a straight line skill shot. She just throws it out. It increases by 18% every time you hit it. Stacks up to 3 times. And it does refund 75% mana when you hit a hero or when you kill a minion. Untamed Growth, her RMB, you throw down a flower that slowly builds up damage and then explodes. It does 50% damage as damage over time. And then 50% damage on the back end of that. The culmination of all the damage. Then her ultimate ability is Fly Trap. It's a very large AoE. You throw it down, anybody in the area gets snapped back to the center of that, and they get stunned, actually. They didn't used to get stunned in Paragon, but they get stunned for I think like 1.5 seconds or something like that in this one. So it's pretty easy to throw down your full combo of a Untamed Growth, a Bramble Patch, and you toss a Harvest Nettles in there after they're all pulled into the center, and it deals a significant amount of damage. And then if you kill somebody during all of that, it spawns yet another flower. So that's what I'm saying. Her passive is actually really good. Now, the most important part of the Fae, do her basic attacks leave little flowers behind? And yes, they do. And I think they're actually a little bit prettier than the old Paragon flowers that you would throw up. So you can try to make smiley faces on the wall in lane while you're waiting for the minions to spawn. So let's throw down an Untamed Growth. Pretty good range on this thing. This is a pretty safe way to farm. You throw it on top of a minion wave or what have you. As you see, it doesn't deal that much damage until it explodes there at the end. There's the brambles, and he's slowed. He's slowed as long as he's in it, but he only took the 1 tick of damage. So that's my bad. The slow actually does reapply as long as they're in it, but the damage only applies once. And here's our Harvest Nettles. Pretty decent range on this. I think Howitzer's rocket actually outranges this. I had a lot of trouble going up against Howitzers as the Fae in when we were playing, because the rocket deals a shitload more damage than this does, and you have to hit this multiple times. So it used to be that was kind of the power of the Fae. I probably just need to get used to using her, to tell you the truth. The Harvest Nettles is always just a way more powerful ability than you think. It's really good for applying on-hit effects with abilities. Same thing with Untamed Growth, because it ticks multiple times for the damage. Let's throw down the Fly Trap. You see, he was stuck on the edge of it, but it pulled him into the center. And he gets stunned. Which, yeah, that stun didn't used to be part of Fly Trap. Nice that it is. Ideally, you would want to have an Untamed Growth down first in the middle of your Fly Trap, and then pull people in. So I wanted to see if that... Yeah, the slow reapplies, but the damage did not, so I pulled him away and then threw another Bramble Patch. Not possible without without turning all of your cooldowns off. So he goes through, takes the stun and the slow, and he just walks on out of it. So let's see, he took the stun and the slow. Let's see if he takes he takes the slow when he walks through. He does not take the damage again. Now, the Bramble Patch does travel... Excuse me. Jesus. The Bramble Patch does travel up terrain, which is pretty damn cool. And it travels down terrain as well. Before we get into the items, I want to point out that all the passives and actives are named, which means they are unique. For example, several items have a passive named Corrode. Once you build one item with Corrode, you only benefit from that passive once. It does not stack. Our first tier 3 item is Vanguard. You get 300 health, 30 magical power, 30 tenacity. Vanguard, receiving damage from an enemy hero, grants you 30 physical armor and 30 magical armor for 4 seconds, while active damage received from enemy heroes refreshes the duration. Guardian, nearby allied heroes gain 10 physical armor and 10 magical armor. True Silver Bracelet, you get 25 magical power, 250 health, 25 magical armor, 10 ability haste. Reprisal, casting your ultimate grants you a 250, 15% bonus health shield for 5 seconds. While the shield holds, gains CC immunity. Upon removal, it explodes, dealing magical damage to nearby enemies for 60% of the initial strength. 40-second cooldown. Marshal, you get 45 magical power, 125 base mana regen, ability haste. Sheriff, yourself and nearby allied heroes gain 20% attack speed and deal 15 plus 1 per the target's level magical damage on hit per the target's level, so maybe a little bit of a catch-up item. Crystal Tier, 30 magical power, 225 base mana regen. I think that's just base mana. That can't be mana. 225 base mana regen. 10 ability haste. Heal and shield power, plus 15 heal and shield power. So if you're using Narbash or Muriel, might be a good item for you. Elation, healing or shielding allied heroes grants you both 40 magical power and 20 ability haste for 5 seconds. Time Warp, you get 25 magical power, 15 physical armor, 150 base mana, 15 ability haste. Ferromancer, casting an ability grants you 5 magical power and 5 physical armor for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. And Chime, when you cast an ability, reduce all other current basic ability cooldowns by 15% with a maximum reduction of 1 second. Requiem, 20 magical power, 200 health, 125 base mana, 10 heal and shield power. Elegy: when a hero dies, gain a stack of Elegy, up to a maximum of 20 stacks. Each stack grants 1 magical power and 10% base mana regeneration. Remembrance: grant nearby allies 1 physical power and 0.5% lifesteal per stack of Elegy. Fire Blossom: you get 275 health, 200 mana. See, that just says 200 mana, not mana regen. I'm kind of wondering about that. 40 physical armor. Heat Wave: deal 25 plus 1.5% bonus health. Magical damage per second to nearby enemies. Increased by 50% against immobilized targets and 100% against monsters. Ella Frost: 30 magical power, 200 health, 300 mana, 10 ability haste. Frostbite: basic attacks slow enemies by 3% for 2 seconds, stacking up to 8 times. Melee basic attacks apply 2 stacks. Frostfang: applying 8 stacks of Frostbite to a target deals an additional 10% maximum mana, magical damage, and roots them for 1 second to 8 second CD per target. Wellspring: 45 magical power, 100 base mana regen, 20 heal and shield power. Vital Waters: casting an ability heals nearby allies for 40, that's 20% magical power, over 2 seconds. Soothing Waters: Vital Waters heals an additional 15% of your lowest allies' maximum health. Basic attacks against enemy heroes reduce the cooldown of Soothing Waters by 1 second. This has a 15-second cooldown. Golem's Gift: Artillery Golem: gain 40 magical power and 40 physical armor whenever you take physical damage from an enemy hero. Decrease both bonuses by 10. This effect resets to full when you leave combat. 70 magical power, 30 physical armor, 10 ability haste. I don't know if I said that. Tainted Totem: 40 physical armor, 30 magical armor, 150 base mana regen, 15 ability haste. Chilling Blight: nearby enemy heroes have their healing reduced by 30% and are slowed by 10%. Nirvana: yourself and nearby allied heroes receive 20% increased healing and shielding. So, the Wellspring, okay, so yeah, that's crazy. Nice. I'm thinking of some cool builds here as I'm talking about this stuff. Overlord: 25 physical power, 350 health. Colossal Cleave: basic attacks deal 30% total physical power, 2% maximum health, physical damage in a small area around the target. Damage ranges from 100% to 50% based on the distance between the targets. Bludgeon: basic attacks deal plus 3.5% bonus health, physical damage on hit. Hexbound Bracers: 50 physical armor, 400 mana, 15 ability haste. Meditation: gain 20 ability haste while above 60% maximum mana. Mana Reactor: restore mana equal to 10% of the damage taken from enemy heroes. Galaxy Greaves, probably my favorite item in the game. 30 physical armor, 30 magical armor, 100 base mana regen, 10 ability haste. 0G: moving generates stacks of 0G. At 100 stacks, your next jump will have increased height. And by moving, they mean how many steps you take. You take 100 steps, you get the jump real high. Celerity: gain 10% movement speed out of combat. Flux Matrix: you get 350 health, 35 magical armor, 20 ability haste. Unstable Shackles: nearby enemy heroes take 15% additional magical damage and have their tenacity decreased by 20%. Breach: 50 physical power, 10 physical penetration, 20 ability haste. Shatter: deal 50% bonus damage to shielded targets as physical damage. Bonesaw: 25 physical power, 400 health. Colossal Sunder: every third consecutive basic attack deals 3% maximum health, bonus physical damage on hit, and slows the target by 20% for 1 second. Flurry: dealing damage with Colossal Sunder grants 8% attack speed for 5 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. Melody: Parting Gift: we get 45 physical power, 8 physical penetration, 15 ability haste. Parting Gift: killing an enemy unit causes them to explode in a small radius, dealing 30% of the target's maximum health as physical damage. Damage ranges from 100% to 40% based on distance between the targets, and is capped at 500. This is a 2-second cooldown, and this does work on minions. Demise, dealing damage to an enemy hero that is below 40% maximum health, deals an additional 40 plus 30% bonus physical power, physical damage, increasing by 10 with each activation. Takedowns reset Demise's cooldown with a 45-second cooldown. As your core, 50 magical power, 350 mana, 10 ability haste. Font, killing an enemy minion grants 8 bonus mana per stack, up to a maximum of 400. At maximum stacks, gain 10 ability haste. Arcane Magic grants bonus magical power equal to 3% maximum mana. Tainted Guard, you get 400 health, 40 physical armor, 10 ability haste. Blighted Thorns, when hit by a basic attack, reduce the source's healing by 30% and apply a bleed dealing 30 plus 30% bonus physical armor, magical damage over 3 seconds. Spellbreaker, you get 55 magical power, 35 magical armor, and 10 ability haste. Grants a spell shield. Grants a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability, and it has a 60-second cooldown. Malefic, gain 20% increased magical power while Veil is active. Dreambiter, 60 magical power, 350 health, 15 tenacity. Chilling spells, damaging abilities slow affected units by 25% for 1.5 seconds. Thaw, abilities deal 10% additional damage to slowed enemy heroes. Mesmer, Vengeful Shroud grants a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability. Upon blocking an enemy ability, gain 30 physical power for 3 seconds with a 60-second cooldown. This gives you 40 physical power, 25 magical power, and 8 physical penetration. Demon Edge, you get 45 physical power. Demonic, while above 40% maximum health, gain 15% bonus physical power. Ceaseless, while below 40% maximum health, gain 10% Omnivamp. Omnivamp means both basic attacks and abilities. Desolate, your physical damage ignores 35% of your target's physical armor before penetration. Astral Catalyst, 50 magical power, 350 mana, 25 ability haste. Spellslinger, Spellslinger using an ability grants you 3% increased magical power for 3 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. Ravenous, takedowns refund 25% of your ultimate's total cooldown. I will tell you, I got a quad kill with the Fae using her ultimate while we were testing things out, and it immediately refunded my ultimate cooldown. This is a very powerful item. Unbroken Will, 350 health, 150 base health regen, 30 magical armor, 15 tenacity. Undying, when you are immobilized, take 20% decreased damage for 2 seconds. Persistence, if you are immobilized or displaced, you restore 6% maximum health over 4 seconds. Wraith Leggings, 80 magical power, 15 magical penetration. Spectre, dealing damage to an enemy hero with an ability grants 100 movement speed for 1.5 seconds. Carnage, abilities deal an additional 20% magical damage against enemy heroes below 40% maximum health. Warden's Faith, Stalwart, well, you get 300 health, 70 physical armor. Stalwart, take 15% reduced damage from critical strikes. Retribution, when hit by a basic attack, reduce current basic ability cooldowns by 0.2 seconds. The Perforator, you get 50 physical power and 10 ability haste. Calamity, abilities deal 0 to 35% based on a 0 to 1600 maximum health difference, but bonus physical damage against enemy heroes with greater maximum health than you. Holy shit. Desolate, your physical damage ignores 35% of your target's physical armor before penetration. Tainted Blade, you get 40 physical power, 200 health, 15 ability haste. Blinded Strikes, dealing physical damage to an enemy target, reduces their healing by 30% for 3 seconds. Hex, damaging an enemy target affected by Blight with an ability deals an additional 20 physical damage and causes them to take 10% more damage for 3 seconds. And this is on a 1 second cooldown. Stormbreaker, 25 physical power, 40 attack speed, 20 critical chance, 3 movement speed. Chain Zap, every 4th successful basic attack releases a bolt of lightning which leaps between 7 targets, dealing 50 plus 1.5 per 1% critical chance, magical damage to each. Stonewall, 150 health, 150 base health regen, 70 physical armor, shockwave, taking damage that would reduce you below 40% maximum health, unleashes a shockwave stunning all nearby enemies for 1 second, and this is on a 90-second cooldown. Bulwark, taking 10, that's plus 7.5% bonus physical armor, decreased damage from physical abilities. Raiment of Renewal, 600 health, 150 base health regen, 200 mana, 15 ability haste. Regenerator, regenerates 10% of damage taken over 5 seconds. Synthesis, increases all healing received by 20%. Oathkeeper, 60 magical power, 250 health, 25 ability haste. Celestial Spellblade, after using an ability, your next basic attack within 6 seconds deals plus 60% total physical power, plus 40% magical power, bonus magical damage on hit, 1.5 second cooldown. Magnify, 50 magical power, 30 attack speed, 10 ability haste. Shredding Strikes, your basic abilities decrease the target's magical armor by 6% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Magnifying Strikes, basic attacks against enemy heroes grants you 8 magical power for 3 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Lightning Hawk, 35 physical power, 25 attack speed, 20 critical chance, 3 movement speed. Chilling Zap, every 4th successful basic attack deals 30 plus 100% bonus physical power, bonus magical damage, and slows the target by 35% for 0.5 seconds. Leviathan, 400 health, 225 base health regen. Colossus, killing an enemy minion grants 4 bonus health per stack up to a maximum of 400. At maximum stacks, gain 10 ability haste. Hasty Colossus, gain 1% maximum health ability haste. Legacy, 30 physical power, 30 magical armor, and 20 ability haste. Tenacious Bravery, upon falling below 40% maximum health, cleanse all negative debuffs and gain 60% tenacity for 5 seconds, and that's on a 60-second cooldown. Resolute, gain 1 physical power for every 2% missing health for a maximum of 30 physical power. If you're wondering what tenacity is, that is CC reduction. Like if you're stunned, you'll be stunned for 60% less time if you have 60% tenacity. Dread, you get 40 physical power, 10 physical penetration, 30 magical armor, and 150 base mana regen. Veracity, killing an enemy target restores 5% of your missing health, increased to 25% for enemy heroes. Celerity, gain 10% bonus movement speed out of combat. Tectonic Mallet, 35 physical power, 40 magical armor, 5 omnivamp. Magnitude, gain 25% of your bonus movement speed as bonus physical power. Harmonic Absorber, while slowed, gain 10% increased movement speed. Frostguard, 200 health, 50 physical armor, 250 mana, 15 ability haste. Chilling Presence, slow nearby enemies by 10% and apply a stack of Stifle every 0.5 seconds. Stifle, when hit by a basic attack, reduce the source's total attack speed by 3% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Combustion, you get 70 magical power, 10 magical penetration, 200 mana. Pyro, your next instance of ability damage will deal 80 plus 10% magical power, bonus magical damage to the target and nearby enemies. That is on a 12-second cooldown. Pyromaniac, damaging enemy heroes reduces the cooldown of Pyro by 0.5 seconds. Citadel, you get 35 physical power, 200 health, 35 physical armor. Fortification, gain 10 physical armor for each nearby enemy hero. Intimidation, nearby enemy heroes have their physical armor decreased by 20%. Draconum, 35 physical power, 35 physical armor, 10 ability haste. Surge, taking or dealing damage generates 2 physical power and 2% increased healing, stacking up to 10 times. Stacks are lost out of combat. Flow, takedowns restore 12% of your missing health and grant you 3% attack speed per stack of Surge for 8 seconds. Void Helm, 500 health, 25 magical armor, 15 ability haste. Justicar, for every 40 magical damage received, gain 4 magical armor and 75% base health regeneration for 8 seconds, stacking up to 8 times. At maximum stacks, gain 10% movement speed. Vanquisher, 45 physical power, 200 mana, 10 physical penetration. Arcane power, gain 2% maximum mana, physical power. Annihilate, if you deal damage that would leave a hero below 5% of their maximum health, execute them. So if you're tired of people getting away at 1 health, pick up Vanquisher. Tainted Scepter, blinded spells, dealing magical damage to an 65 magical power, 200 health, 20 ability haste. Dealing magical damage to an enemy target reduces their healing by 30% for 3 seconds. Malice, every second gain a stack of Malice up to a maximum of 15. Damaging an enemy hero with an ability consumes Malice to deal 6 true damage per stack. Takedowns grant maximum stacks of Malice instantly. Pain Weaver, you get 45 physical power, 25 physical penetration, 15 ability haste. Spell Weaver, after using an ability, your next basic attack within 6 seconds deals 50% bonus physical power, bonus physical damage on hit, increasing up to the 50% based on the target's missing health, and this is a 1.5 second cooldown. Omen, you get 45 physical power, 8 physical penetration, 20 ability haste. Bestial Torment, moving generates stacks of Torment. At 100 stacks, your next basic attack consumes them to deal 30 plus 40% bonus physical power, bonus physical damage, and reduces your current basic ability cooldowns by 1.5 seconds. Nightfall, you have 45 physical power, 8 physical penetration, and 5 Omnivamp. Eclipse, dealing damage to an isolated enemy hero grants 10% attack speed and 10 ability haste for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. At maximum stacks, gain 10% Omnivamp. Lifebinder, you get 50 magical power, 200 health, 15 magical lifesteal, and 15 tenacity. Leech, damaging an enemy hero with an ability restores 4% plus 1% per 100 magical power of your maximum health over 8 seconds. Additional applications refresh the duration. Magi, achieving a takedown grants 50 magical power for 8 seconds. Infernum, 40 physical power, 300 health, 20 ability haste. Cinder, abilities burn enemy units, dealing an additional 80% total physical power. Physical damage over 3 seconds. Death Stalker, 40 physical power, 10 physical penetration, 20 ability haste. Corrode, dealing damage to an enemy hero reduces their physical armor by 5% for 2 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. Virulence, your abilities deal 20% bonus true damage against targets with 6 stacks of Corrode. Crystalline Cuirass, 200 health, 70 magical armor, 10 ability haste. Volatile, when you take ability damage, release a pulse of energy dealing 20 plus 3% maximum health magical damage to all nearby enemies, and this is on a 1.5 second cooldown. Basilisk, 35 physical power, 250 health, 20 ability haste. Corrode, dealing damage to an enemy hero reduces their physical armor by 5% for 2 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. Eminence, your basic attacks against targets with 6 stacks of Corrode deal 4% of their missing health as bonus physical damage. Terminus gives you 50 physical power, 15 lifesteal, 20 critical chance. Anon, excess healing from lifesteal is converted into a shield up to 80% total physical power total. The shield slowly decays after 15 seconds of leaving combat. Tainted Rounds, 25 physical power, 30 attack speed, 20 critical chance. Blighted Strikes, successful basic attacks reduce the target's healing by 30% for 3 seconds. Wicked Strikes, basic attacks deal 12% total physical power, magical damage on hit, increasing up to 100% based on the target's missing health. Sky Splitter, 25 physical power, 25 attack speed, 20 critical chance, and 5 lifesteal. Rend, basic attacks deal 5% of the target's current health as bonus physical damage on hit and heal you equal to 50% of the bonus damage dealt. MPA, Rend's bonus damage deals a minimum of 10 and is capped at 50 against monsters and minions. Absolution, 40 physical power, 30 magical armor, 20 critical chance. Swift Bravery, upon falling below 40% maximum health, cleanse all negative debuffs and gain 20% movement speed for 3 seconds, and this is on a 60-second cooldown. Determined, gain 1% attack speed for every 2% missing health for a maximum of 30% attack speed. Resolution gives you 45 physical power, 200 mana, 20 critical chance. Critical Font, killing an enemy minion grants 8 bonus mana, up to a maximum of 400. At maximum stacks, gain 2.5% of your bonus mana as additional critical strike chance. Arcane Strikes deal 3% of your maximum mana as bonus physical damage on hit. Viper, 40 physical power, 20 critical chance, 20 ability haste. Corrode, dealing damage to an enemy hero reduces their physical armor by 5% for 2 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. Diligence, your critical strikes deal 15% more damage against targets with 6 stacks of Corrode. Mind Razor, 40 physical power, 200 mana, 20 ability haste. Ingenious Cleave, dealing damage to an enemy unit with a basic attack or ability, deals an additional 25% total physical power, physical damage in a small area around them. Damage ranges from 100% to 50% based on distance between targets. Dot sources are excluded. That's damage over time. Arcane Power, gain 2.5% maximum mana, physical power. Megacosm, 70 magical power, 200 mana, 20 ability haste. Disintegrate, dealing damage to an enemy target with an ability, deals 5% of their maximum health as magical damage over 3 seconds. Additional applications within the duration deal 2.5% of their maximum health as magical damage instantly and refreshes the duration. Kingsbane, 45 physical power, 8 lifesteal, 20 critical chance. Order, successful basic attacks against enemy heroes grant you a shield equal to 12% of the damage dealt for 3 seconds. Regicide, takedowns grant you 150% total physical power shield for 3 seconds. Caustica, you get 80 magical power, 20 magical penetration. Magus, while above 50% maximum mana, gain 20% magical penetration. Arcane Resolve, while below 50% maximum mana, gain 1% maximum mana regeneration per second. World Breaker, 45 magical power, 300 health, 30 tenacity. Fiend, dealing magical damage to an enemy hero increases your magical damage dealt by 4% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Maya, gain 2% maximum health bonus magical power. Salvation, 35 physical power, 500 health, 30 tenacity. Aegis, falling below 40% maximum health grants you a 20% maximum health shield, halved for range heroes, and 10% Omnivamp for 6 seconds. This is on a 60-second cooldown. Prophecy, this is 60 magical power, 25 attack speed, 20 ability haste. Magical Strikes, basic attacks deal 15, 20% magical power, bonus magical damage on hit. Hasty, gains 75% ability haste, attack speed. Mutilator, 45 physical power, 20 ability haste, 8 Omnivamp. Mutilate, basic attacks deal 1.5% of the enemy hero's maximum health as bonus physical damage, applies twice on non-dot abilities. Devour, damaging an enemy hero with an ability steals 8% of their maximum health for 20%. Let me do that one again. Devour, Damaging an enemy hero with an ability steals 8% of their maximum health for 20 seconds, can only occur once per target. Demolisher, 50 physical power, 20 critical chance. First strike, your first basic attack when entering combat deals 50% additional physical damage. Takedowns refresh this effect. Desolate, your physical damage ignores 35% of your target's physical armor before penetration. Dust Devil, 30 physical power, 20 attack speed, 20 critical chance, 3 movement speed. Menace, critical strikes grant 2% attack speed for 5 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. At maximum stacks, gain 30 physical power and 10% movement speed. Augmentation, 30 physical power, 300 health, 30 attack speed. True Strikes, basic attacks deal 30% base physical power, bonus true damage on hit. Overclocked, upon casting your ultimate, gain 15% movement speed for 6 seconds, and this is on a 20-second cooldown. Ashbringer, 30 physical power, 20 attack speed, 10 ability haste, 20 critical chance. Clockwork, basic attacks against enemy heroes decrease your current basic ability cooldowns by 0.25 seconds. This effect is doubled when you deal a critical strike. Honed Strikes, basic attacks deal 20 bonus physical damage on hit. Desolate, your physical damage ignores 35% of your target's physical armor before penetration. Oblivion Crown, you get 120 magical power. Annihilate, increase your magical power by 35%. Imperator, 55 physical power, 20 critical chance. Perfection, gain 1 physical power per 4% critical strike chance. Precision, critical strikes deal 15% more damage. Thanks for sticking it out for a very long and boring video. Let me know in the comments which hero you're the most excited to play, and also let me know which item caught your eye. I'm looking forward to getting some games in soon, but for now, this is the Man Goose signing off. You guys have a good one. Man Goose! Shout out to channel members Joshua Ben Noctis, J-Man, Jelly Knees, Passion Guard, Malco, Hassan A, Nico, F6, Actual Dez, Dapper Dice, Lionheart Official, Blastoise King, Meow Mix for Men, Surge Ben, Covetous Lemon, Bearded Wolverine, Pizza Face, Pusey, El Draco King, Oda, Soul Reaper, Levy version 2, Clorox TV, iBlood Hunter, and Raven.